There wasn't a lot of sign. I would say that this is a silent killer. Life's great, life's normal, and then things hit the fan and then it just got really bad.
Most people in your position, Isaac, would hesitate doing anything like what you did to give up your kidney for a friend.
I have to act fast if I want to save the things that matter to me.
The theme of friendship, it's not often made public these days. And in Malaysia, it's sometimes horribly sexualized.
Yeah. Remember the gay comment?
We're just humans lah.
It's technically called CKD, which is chronic kidney disease. Medical professionals just told me straight up, no. You have to be the blood relative or it has to be your spouse. If you just resign to the fact that the doctors know everything and you don't do any research, you're probably just like, if this exists, why is everybody denying it? And that's when I found
Jay, going back to some time ago, you were just living your life normally, and if someone looked at you, it would seem like everything was all right. What would you say were the small signs that something actually wasn't right?
To be honest, there wasn't a lot of signs at all. Like, people looked at me and they didn't think that I had anything, and I didn't feel like anything as well. I was just living my life. I was doing a lot of traveling, I was doing a lot of outdoor activities, and they were all fine. The only symptoms I had, and this was towards the end anyway, was I think I had some pimples in my back and a little bit of itch. And that was when I went to find out what's going on, and then it was kind of like at the stage where it's too late. So I would say that this is a silent killer. So you don't really realize until it's too late.
Right. And Isaac, when you first heard that Jay needed a kidney, what was the first emotion that hit you?
Man. I think like just getting scared lah. Yeah.
What were you
For
scared
him.
about? You were afraid of
Yeah, for him lah. Yeah, worried lah. I think getting worried is the word. Yeah.
Most people in your position, Isaac, would hesitate about doing anything like what you did, which was to give up your kidney for a friend. What was the pivotal point for you where you went, I'm thinking about I'll do it?
So, like he called me, I think sometime in December, right? Yeah, sometime in December, like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, December, like 2 years ago. Then like he said like, oh, I forgot the details lah, but it's like kidney disease or something like that. I'm just like, we have a friend who also, but he's in the US, so he donated his kidney.
Right.
And that was years ago. So like my mind is like, if he can donate his kidney, can I donate my kidney? So that's what I was thinking about. Like as the call went on, then like I think I asked a few people. I had a friend who was in the government like hospital side. He says like, it's technically possible, but it's very hard. It's like there are a lot of them like just like he's a doctor, so like says like it's not recommended, but technically there's a way like to get like non-relative donor. Then I'm like, okay. Then I think the next day then I say like, okay, then I'll try to give you my kidney.
Just the next day, within 24 hours?
Yeah.
And basically.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you got that call from Isaac?
I was honestly shocked. I mean, I wasn't expecting it at all, and I didn't know how to process it. I was just like, I don't know what I said to you, but I
still don't remember.
Yeah, it was surreal. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Did you have a conversation with your wife before?
Yeah, I
making
did.
That phone call
I did talk to her lah. Then she's like, okay, I support you. My wife was also very supportive of the whole transplant thing lah.
Right. Can I ask the question that's probably burning on all our minds? What sort of friendship or connection would it take to feel to make a decision like that? How long have you been friends for?
9 years. Yeah, 9 years. This is the 9th one. Like, we're good friends, but like.
You have a perfect opportunity to say how awesome this friendship or Jay is to you, but
Jay is not that awesome to me now.
Whoa, wait.
That's on camera too.
Whoa,
Too much, man.
I would have done it for anyone, man.
But I would do it. I told you also, I would do it for my friends. I would do it for people that I care about. Like the same thing lah. Like if anyone needed something, like if I can, to whatever capacity that I can, I would do it lah.
not trying to discount the
Yeah, not
relationship, but
trying to discount
this
this
goes to
relationship,
show his heart, you know.
Yeah. We
Well,
got that, but I think
oh.
that also, I think the theme of friendship, it's not often
Yeah.
made public these days.
Yeah.
And in Malaysia, it's so sometimes horribly sexualized.
Yeah.
But what she said is so true. Remember the gay comments?
Yeah, like I mean, homosexuality to me is like it's fine. I really don't care. Like, but the fact that like you have to turn it into that because like you want to find a reason to do good things, it's just dumb lah. Like it's like it's like you guys are like buddies, and I'm like,
You guys must
like
be, yeah.
like butt buddies, you know. So.
You got comments
Go on,
like that.
Isaac.
And even if it
Let it out.
Let it out.
Even if it was also like, so what? Like you can't do something good lah. Like really you cannot do something like there's got to be some kind of reason why you have to help somebody. Which is like this is I feel like that's the entire problem with like wow I'm going to rant, man. That's the entire problem with the entire like society at large lah. It's like why you need help? Why do I want to give to you? Who are you to me? You just want to help lah, like legit. That's all we want to do, you know. Like I mean, that's all I want to do lah.
And it doesn't have to be sexualized. That's
Yeah, it
all.
doesn't have to be
Exactly,
sexualized
yeah.
lah. It's something that I learned over time lah. It's also like two truths, like the saying what two truths can be true, like two realities can be true. That you can love your friends like very deeply. You can also love your spouse very deeply also lah. I made a joke lah. Well, damn, such a bad joke though. I really don't think I should make it. I told someone. Wait,
Jay is not your time.
Yeah. It's like if I wanted anything from Jay should be giving me his kidney lah. Like, right, like that's how it works, ma, right?
So you think you're the catch?
Yeah, of course I am. Kidding. You can ask my wife. My wife will 100% deny it, but she knows it's real. But yeah, the whole like need to like you guys are like
You guys
special
must be gay.
relationship like gay, which is like even if it was so also like so okay, I mean like that aside, but like you can do good things for the sake of doing good things lah.
Like, it doesn't have to be sexualized.
That or even like because you owe me, then or I owe you, then I give you. No, like it's just like someone needs help, we just help lah. That's it. But in my life, like friends have always just played a very important role to me. Like to me, but to me lah, not to everyone lah. But like they've supported. My friends have supported me a lot. That like I consider them like family. Like my friends are my family because like they kind of like they chose to help me when I need help.
They are chosen family.
Yes, exactly. It's like times are hard. Times were hard for me, and people were willing to like help me. And like there was no like incentive for them to help me, but they just did it. So like it's very important to me lah. Then we can like because things I've seen that happen, and like to me it's like I guess like the logical thing for me to do is like I should just do that back to my friends lah, or at least people and things I care about lah. And I'm not diminishing like the relationship that we have lah, but it's also a lot like my wife and I, we pick up, so like some history of what the things we do is like we also like we pick up a lot of stray animals, a lot of them, and then like we kind of just like try to help where we can in a lot of things lah. Then this is kind of like someone needs help, then we try our best to offer what we can lah. Like sometimes we can't do everything, right? So like, but this is something like he's a friend, so like and this is something that I think that I can do. So I decided to just say like yeah, like let's try lah. But honestly, the decision was very easy to make lah, because like you do. I mean, I don't believe in like the whole like you do good. Everyone says this, you know, you do good, then you're gonna go heaven or you're gonna get karma points. I'm like whatever lah, you do good for them. Like is that really doing good lah, right? Yeah.
And you before the cameras rolled, you shared how you first got to know Jay.
Yeah.
That was quite funny. Did you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, can lah. Let's do it. So like when I first came to Penang to like play I play music. He plays music too, and then he was playing for a guy called Daniel C, who was like an indie folk musician. And then I was also an indie folk musician. So I first came to Penang, and then like we played the same show, and then I watched him, and he's like, oh, this guy's guitar damn good way. Then I go and message him like, hey bro, like very nice I'll see you around Penang. And he's like, yeah, I'll see you around Penang, bro. So that's how we first met. That was in December 2017. We checked back.
Wow, you even remember the exact time.
Yeah, because we had to check our just like hey, like scroll back on Facebook, let's just see like, oh, it's 2017. Yeah.
You had to check your timeline.
Yeah, I had to check the timeline
That
a
goes
bit.
a long way back, and from that one message that you sent Jay and say, "Hey, bro, you know,
Mm.
you wouldn't have thought like the journey that
Yeah,
took you
basically
on 9 years since then.
No.
It's been pretty crazy, and I hear that now you said to me, we're sharing a kidney, so we're going to share a bed.
So like we so now exactly that.
But coming back to you, Jay, when you hear that there is a kidney disease or kidney failure, I'm not quite sure what the diagnosis was.
It's technically called CKD, which is
Yeah.
chronic kidney disease.
right.
Yeah. So there are two types,
Mhm.
acute and chronic. So with acute kidney disease, that's usually reversible because that's acute, something that maybe something else caused it. But with chronic kidney disease, it's like it's been going on for we don't know how long, but there's no reversal there.
Right. So with CKD, how did your daily life changed as time progressed before the transplant?
You mean when things were bad?
Yes.
When I started feeling symptoms?
You started feeling symptoms.
Basically, like
Was
in
there
terms
a
of
loss in your quality of life?
oh yeah, big time. Basically, my timeline is like everything's normal, life's great, life's normal, and then things hit the fan, and then it just got really bad. Like it just fell off the cliff like that.
So it was very sudden.
It was very sudden for me. But the thing is, it might be different for different people. Like I think we respond to these things differently, but that's my experience of it. I've read about stories where people started feeling symptoms at an earlier stage, but it's very common that no symptoms are noticed up till like stage 4 or 5, and those are the two final stages.
Right. And what would you say was your greatest loss at the time? Was it a sense of losing activities or losing?
Oh yeah. I think the thing that really affected me was like basically losing my freedom or like my ability to travel or go out of where I'm based.
Right.
So that was a huge blow for me because I like to explore, I like to do a lot of traveling. So that was a tough pill to swallow, and I think I couldn't accept that for a long time, and that was a bit of a struggle in that sense.
Was that a bigger struggle than actually facing mortality?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely something undeniable as well. But you know, at that time I was just thinking about like what life is going to be like moving forward, and I'm thinking, is that even a life worth living? So when it comes to mortality, I think my frame of mind was just like this, do I want to continue living like this? But yeah, I continued pushing on, and there were other challenges that I faced which were quite unexpected. So last year was, suffice to say, the hardest year of my life, yeah. And being on dialysis is tough.
Right.
And I think I respond to it pretty badly as well. Like some people respond to it a little bit better, but I was still having issues with some electrolyte balances, and physically, and I just feel really drained after every session. So that was really tough on me. Yeah.
And when you had that phone call from Isaac, was it like an immediate yes, or do you struggle with the idea?
I was a little bit. I struggled a little bit. Just processing that, and I finally came to terms with it. And I'm like, are you really sure about this? And then
Yeah, I think he asked me a few times. Not just on the call, I think after that also.
yeah, I was a bit hesitant. But like, yeah, I mean, eventually we were like, okay, let's do this. And that was when I started exploring that route, with the feasibility of that. And I've hit a lot of roadblocks when it comes to that.
Would you be open to share some of the roadblocks
Yes.
in Malaysia
Yeah.
in terms of organ donation from outside the family?
Yes. So prior to this, the general consensus that you might get from even medical professionals and people in the field is that, yeah, that's not possible. I've had experiences where medical professionals just told me straight up, no, you can't do that.
Medically or legally?
Legally.
Legally.
Medically, it's not an issue at all. But legally, they are talking about how things work in Malaysia. And I didn't resign to the fact because I was determined to find out what it really is. So I had to be my own self-advocate, and my fiance was helping me out a lot as well. Like, we did a lot of research, and we found an MOH article saying that it is possible, and there's a whole set of guidelines for it.
Right.
So we're like, if this exists, why is everybody denying it? Like, because I wasn't told that it's possible, but it's hard. And I would have been completely fine with that answer. It's just that I was straight up told, no, it was not possible at all. So I think if you just resign to the fact that the doctors know everything, and you don't do any research, you probably just like give up and just like, yeah, that's not going to be possible for me here. But
you pressed on.
I pressed on,
And where was the breakthrough?
The breakthrough is when I found my nephrologist, my current nephrologist, which is Dr. Vijaya. I think I came across a Facebook post that he made because I was doing a lot of research at the time. I was desperate. I was like,
Facebook has been pivotal in your journey, first with him and then with your nephrologist.
Yeah, I know, back in the days of Facebook, right?
No way.
But yeah, I mean, I was determined to like find out why is there an article from the Ministry of Health saying that this is possible and this is the guidelines, but why are medical professionals telling me no? And it's not just one. I actually seek advice from a few.
With the transplant, when they said no to you, was this before or after the phone call from Isaac saying, hey?
That was after, because like, yeah, I think it was after.
It was after, and they were still saying no. There's already donor, but they're still saying no to you.
Basically, they're like, you have to be a blood relative, or it has to be your spouse.
Okay.
Like, there's no other way. And yeah, it's not like, I don't know what's the best way to put it, but they were just telling me it wasn't possible. It wasn't even like, yeah, it's possible, but we don't really want to do that for you. It was just like, no, you can't do it in Malaysia. It was just straight up like that. So there's a lot of lack of awareness, I feel, that this is indeed possible, and there's a set rule of set number of guidelines that you have to go through. There's a bunch of hoops you have to hop across, but it is possible.
And that's what we're here to create, that awareness.
Correct,
today,
yeah.
that transplant outside the family is actually possible.
Yes.
What did the nephrologist, out of curiosity, posted on Facebook that made you reach out to him?
I think it was a visual of like the guidelines for non-relative donors.
I see.
And I was like, okay, somebody acknowledged that. I'm going to go find this person right now. And that's when I found Dr. Vijay. When I told him about it, he was quite shocked that medical professionals are denying that. And I think I remember the word that he used. He was like, this is discrimination.
Yeah.
He was like, how can they say no to you? So that was like, yeah, that was when, I guess that was the breaking point for me, like, to pursue this whole journey.
I see.
Yeah.
And at any point in time, did you start worrying? I mean, it sounds like a long process. So between you making the phone call and then actually having the surgery.
Oh man.
Let's be honest.
It's a very long process. Like even
to
get to like the government, like so like you had to go through an interview. I think like Jay will probably go through the entire process of how the legality of it is. But to reach the interview process, I think like from January, it was in October, right? So about 9 months. But you had to be okay to travel as well. That was also one of the criteria.
Yeah. But I think it was shorter than that because we submitted the documents earlier, but we got the interview in September.
Okay.
And then upon completing the interview, you had to go through a whole bunch of approvals. By the time we got approved, it was October, I think.
I think October, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, but the process, not the time it took for the government to like approve everything was long, but the entire process.
Yeah.
Because he had to go through like first it was the emergency dialysis thing that he had in his
neck. It was partly, I mean, some of the delays were because of myself as well. I was like,
your physical condition.
Yeah, I was really out of it, and I wasn't in the right frame of mind as well in the beginning of last year. So it took a while for all of that to
fall into place.
Yeah, for me to be at a stable point to like, let's continue doing this. Yeah, so.
And in all that time, never once did you waver or start having a bit of a little doubt seed into you. Am I doing the right thing? What if I need my kidney?
I feel like for me, it's the only, like I don't think I've ever doubted like what I wanted to, what I was doing. Like I know that it's the right thing to do for me. But the one thing that I was scared for, like it really started to hit, was when I started doing tests. I think they call it like I had to ingest like radioactive material just to see like how the kidneys are doing and whatnot. So then when I was going through the radio test, so like they had to like I think run a radio, like I don't know what machine it was. Then like it felt like the entire body, like the veins were like on fire, and I'm like, okay, this is painful. And then they started to like, okay, it kind of hurts. but I still wanted to go through it, even though if it's just painful. I just needed to tell people that it was painful.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Wow. And in that process, so you had to do an interview?
Yes.
Did you have to prepare for the interview? What was the interview for?
Yeah, so it's by a committee called UTEC, which stands for Unrelated, Unrelated
Transplant.
Transplant,
okay.
something committee, the C
yeah,
stands for committee.
something committee, but these are that's the governmental body that regulates these things.
But there is a body.
There is a body. That's
There is a body,
yeah,
so there's been a whole structure that's actually set up
it
in Malaysia.
exists, correct.
Right.
But it's I mean, there's not a lot of cases.
Okay.
It's almost unheard of.
There are not many Isaacs around.
No, there are not many Isaacs around. And
I could do with a friend like that.
I think we are quite possibly the second in Malaysia.
Right.
I think so. Yeah.
Second in Malaysia.
Ever, yeah.
Do you know how long this committee or this structure has been set up?
I'm not too sure, but yeah, I mean, it is there.
Right.
Yeah, which is why like my nephrologist, Dr. Vijay, was confused as to why are they
People
not
saying
acknowledging
no.
it, because it exists.
Mm.
But he was also very realistic about the whole thing. He was like, the governmental body exists, but in terms of whether or not you'll be approved, that's a different question. But let's try our best, because like nothing weird's going on here. Like this is an honest thing that's happening, and you know there shouldn't be a reason for them to reject it. So
They actually have the discretion to say no.
yes,
if they deem it suspicious.
yeah.
like,
So what the existence of this body is to make sure that there's no trade going on, there's no coercion, and that we are both we both know what we are going into,
Yep.
and we both know what are the implications or like side effects, possible side effects, and all these
Risks
things. Yeah, and risks. So they want to make sure that we could fully understand, and I think our experience with the interviewers were really good actually.
Did they interview you separately or together?
Separately.
Yeah.
And you were grilled. I imagine they grilled him really badly, or
But that's the thing. Like I feel like they really also, like I guess like the idea is like it's okay to say it's like the government doesn't want us to do it, but it's not true actually.
Yeah.
The UTEC committee were really like
Supportive actually.
supportive, and
yeah.
like they're like, you guys are doing a great thing.
Yeah.
They just straight up told us that, and then like, okay, let's just look at the paperwork. Let's see how things are.
And
well, that's wonderful to hear. So if anyone out there is doubting and having
Yeah.
sort of two minds about this, I mean, it's great to hear that assurance that
Yes.
actually UTEC was really supportive.
correct.
The whole experience, I think, was not antagonistic in
No.
any
No,
way.
it's not.
No, not at all.
There were 3 levels of interviews. I think the first one was a psychologist,
Yeah.
and then the
psychology,
second one is social worker, and the third one is a doctor. So we both had to go through all 3 levels separately, and yeah.
And the process wasn't that hard because we got to do it in a day. I mean, you had to do it in KL because like the UTEC committee is in KL, so you would still have to fly there. But in terms of like the ease of going through the entire process, it was actually okay.
I think they also tried to arrange all 3 interviews to be at the same day because they know we're traveling from
Oh, okay.
Penang. So
that's really considerate and
Yeah.
it is,
very caring of them.
Like going in, I think I did not have any like expectation about this, but it was really good, honestly. I think one of the interviewers was just like saying, hey, I hope this goes through and everything, I wish you all the best, the surgery goes smoothly. I'm like, wow, this is great.
Refreshing.
And you thought
And
that
then-
would be like
yeah,
not like
there's
that,
this body that exists and they are encouraging about this. They're just doing their due diligence to make sure there's no trade and
As they
everything.
should.
As they should, exactly. But there's a disconnect between that and the front end people that talk to the patients and
Yeah,
they
right.
just say straight up saying
AA.
no. So like I don't know why there's a disconnect there. And if anybody out there wants to do it, I mean, if it's an honest donation, I don't see a reason why it should be a problem at all.
And the questions were all pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's honestly very straightforward
Yeah,
questions.
it's very straightforward. Now they want to make sure that you understand the procedures, what are the implications,
Yep.
and whether or not you're in a good state of mind to make that decision and things like that, which are all completely reasonable.
Right.
Yeah.
How common is it? You said there are only 2 cases, which would mean that it's not common
It's not.
for families to not match, or
It's uncommon to hear that someone
Yeah.
non-related to
And I think
to
it's
the
it's
person
also
who
a problem
donates.
of awareness. People don't know you can do it, even though there is
Yeah.
a structure in place. Because if medical professionals are saying no to people, they just dismiss the fact that it's possible.
Who walked you through the medical risk to it? Would it be his nephrologist
Uh,
here, or was it the UTEC committee that said, "Hey, these are the risks you're facing"?
I had another nephrologist because like we didn't want
Any conflict of
of
interest.
interest because
Yeah,
like
so-
we didn't want like Dr. Jaya saying that like I want to save Jay, so I'm going to make sure Isaac donates. So we had another doctor just
And
coach
he arranged
me
that
through,
to make sure that we both have our individual
Medical
physicians.
advice.
Yeah.
Great.
So he just coached me through like to understand like what the risks are and like be very clear like okay like these are the percentages of risks that you will go through. Are you aware of these things? Do you know what these
Could you
is?
share some of them?
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm getting grilled again. Are you secretly UTEC?
No.
Kidding.
I don't work for them.
Like so that of the one that is like most common is like the increase of blood pressure later on and like risk of hypertension increases like in my later year like years later after the surgery. So it's like because like the kidney is it regulates the blood pressure, so I'm in like cause like increased rate of hypertension and then like just more strain on like whatever that's left, which is that one kidney. So that's the most common risk that can happen.
I see. And was there? I imagine there would still be a risk of whether the transplant would be successful.
Yeah, definitely. There's always a risk.
But
of
that would be on his end.
Yeah.
Because like for me, I just take it out. Yeah.
You make it sound so simple, Isaac.
Well, I mean, I was asleep most of the time. So. Yeah, but the risk like he has more risks to kind of look out for.
There's definitely risks involved. But honestly, the risk level is pretty low for all these things. It's actually really safe.
What was your biggest fear, or going into this? What was it actually about the kidney, or could it be about
The surgery.
your relationship?
I was kind of worried.
recovery?
I was worried that he would die lah. That's about it lah.
And after everything that you've gone through now, will you say it differently to anyone out there?
Nah. No. I mean, like for me, it's like if any of my close friends needs help, like I would do what I can to help. So, yeah, that's the worry. I mean, like of course I worry, like oh man, like it hurts. the first thing that I said, like, I woke up for the surgery was like, I can't cuss here. Right? I'm a horrible, like I'm a super big potty mouth, but I just said like, oh my god, it like hurts so.
Yeah.
That's what I said lah. And then it was funny because then my wife looked at me like, I said no. So yeah, but like just the worry was mostly like just making sure like he was okay lah.
It sounds like so much love
Yeah.
from Isaac. I mean, love in its just in its very innocent,
Yeah.
pure form of friendship, and I think that's so beautiful. Because that's not common these days,
No, it's not.
is it? Yeah, and I'm so glad that you said yes, because it would take two, and there wouldn't be the story today if you
Yeah.
didn't say yes as well.
Yeah.
Was it difficult to come to that yes? Because you said you thought about it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of emotions that went through my head, and like a lot of it was just like, I don't deserve this, and yeah, I mean, it was. I wanted to make sure that he's really sure about that, because I don't want him to like regret that later on as well.
Yeah.
I'm still in awe. How
I still am too.
so I'm not the only one in the room. Tired of doctors talking and not understanding what you're saying? Talk Health Asia cuts the fluff. Real experts, real answers, real access, so you can take control of your health. I think when I first saw the article on Facebook as well, believe it or not, so Facebook has brought all this together. I was taken aback because I recognized Isaac's face, having met him before, and I thought, hey.
That's my dance partner.
Yeah.
Yes. When with organ donation, why do you think people often, sort of push it away? I mean, you spoke about how supportive your wife was in this whole process, about you loving a friend. How about your parents or your other relatives?
I mean, my other relatives are always saying like, are you sure you without one kidney you're gonna be like a lot weaker, Isaac? You're also very weak, remember? I'm asthmatic, so like they always just think that I'm always weak. Yeah. So, but they are all right with it. I won't say like they were super supportive of it. They were like, I think you think of yourself first, like. But yeah, then they were hesitant, but they were not like, you know, in complete like you can't do it. It's like, you know, like I'm an adult, so yeah. But yeah, like I mean, like 32, I think I can make decisions for myself, lah. Yeah, but they were hesitant and they were like, "Are you sure? Did you think this through and all that?" So
I love the fact what you said. I'm an adult. I can make decisions for myself. I think when it comes to many of these things, especially in Asia, families are still making decisions for individuals, and the ability, I think, to take that path. You own that whole journey. This is me. This is what I'm gonna do, and you made that decision pretty quickly, and that's what it took you to see it through, even when it was starting to hurt with the radioactive material.
Yes, that. I guess like a bit of context to why I think I act so fast with, in a way, like it's a crisis, right? In my mind it's a crisis. So like me and my wife, we have like pets, a lot of pets, and like we had a lot of pets that like passed away. I mean, old age, and then some of them like had like health issues and all that. And, like we acted very quickly with them. Then we managed to get like some years out of their lives because we acted quickly. So like in my mind, it's always like, you know, I have to act fast if I want to like save the things that matter to me, lah. Yeah.
So when you said things that matter to you, obviously this friendship, this relationship that you have with Jay matters a lot to you, and you wanted to save it.
Yeah.
Because I think perhaps you wouldn't have come to that decision so quickly just for a stranger on the road, isn't it?
A stranger maybe, yes, actually, because like again, like it's like we do what, like me and my wife, we're always thinking like we do what we can to help, you know, like if it was another friend, yeah, of course I would also like think of a way like how can we do this, you know, like.
But you surely went really fast.
Yeah, but that's also like why, like if we were slow, and there was one pet that we were slow, and then like then she just died in a few days, which was, I mean, like sometimes I still think of it as my fault, lah. So I don't want to repeat that.
The experience with Jay. Jay, what would you say to someone listening who have not checked into what they think? It's a little bit of concern, but I think I'm okay.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
What would you say to someone who say have a little bit of symptoms, whatever symptoms they were, may not necessarily be CKD, but they think, it's fine, you
Get
know.
it checked.
Yeah.
I mean,
Get it checked.
Yeah.
if I have any advice to give out, like if you're in your mid-20s or whatever, maybe just do a yearly check. Because you really, by the time you feel any symptom, it's usually kind of late down. If you're talking about CKD, I'm not sure about other diseases or anything else, but with CKD, it's if you feel something and then you go check, chances are it's already too late. So like the only way to detect it earlier is if you do regular blood checks.
Yeah.
Because you really don't feel anything, and for me, I didn't feel anything until like the very end.
Yeah. And when we first spoke off camera, you said, look, you know, if it's all right, I would like not to go into the whole process of how I was diagnosed and how I sought treatment. But in terms of your journey, what would you really want others to know from that journey? You know, just your overall experience, your overall journey. If there's this opportunity now to just share anything at all.
Well, if there's one big takeaway from this is that you just gotta be your own self-advocate. Because if I wasn't, then if I just resigned to the fact that it's not possible, we wouldn't be here today. So I pushed on because nobody is gonna look after yourself better than yourself. So you gotta like really wanna.
Yeah, it sounds like if you didn't push on, we didn't even know that UTEC exists.
Yeah. And I'm glad that we are doing this, and there's an article about it now if people search about it, it's gonna pop up, and it's harder for medical professionals to just say no.
Right. And is there an organ donation scheme in Malaysia? For, you know, in some countries, I believe there are.
I don't think
as part
so.
of your.
I mean, only when you pass away.
Oh wait,
Cadaver,
you mean like
as in when you pass, and then like there is that scheme, but like I think
And it's
living
different from this one.
It's different than this one because this is
that's like
living
registering
donor.
for
As like when you pass away, then as a cadaver, then you'll take your organs. Yes, that exists here, but. yeah, this living donor thing is different. There is no, I don't think there's a bank for this. Like unlike other countries.
Yeah, I think in other countries they have this figured out a lot better in the sense where there's even like a swap program where if you have a bunch of donors that want to donate to their loved one or their friend or a stranger or anybody, but the blood group is not a match. They have swap programs where, let's say, somebody comes in and it's a blood match for this person, and they just make swaps, and then suddenly like a single organ donation could enable like 8 others to happen. Wow. It's like a chain. That exists in other countries, but I don't think it exists here yet. Yeah.
That would be wonderful, isn't it? Because then you have a bunch of people who can't match, but then suddenly because of all that reshuffling,
correct,
everyone matches.
Like a string of organ donations might just need this blood group to come in.
Yeah.
And doing that, you might enable like a whole chain of possibility.
Wow. What would you say is your hardest point in this whole journey together? Because you've been doing this journey for what, 12 months now? Because 9 months, right, to the surgery, and it's been about 2 months since, so about a year. What would have been the hardest moment through it all?
Oh, looking back, just to kind of talk through the experience, before we got the interview and everything, it was like, it's kind of like one of those things where imagine you have a trip plan like maybe 7-8 months ahead, and then so many things could happen between then. So you're not like, it might happen, but in my mind it's like it didn't really materialize in my mind up to the point where we got the approval, because I wasn't sure if we were going to get it, because all I've been hearing is like it's very rare, for this to happen. So I didn't keep my hopes up that high, because I wanted to go in with like low expectations so I don't get too disappointed if things didn't happen. But yeah, I think the moment where I felt like, oh, I think this might actually be happening was when the approval came through, and I'm like, oh crap, it's happening. Yeah.
Not yay, it's happening. It's oh crap, it's happening.
No, like yay, but like
it's kind of like
oh,
it's real now.
Actually happening now.
Yeah,
like this could actually happen. So then that was when we started doing all the other tests, because we reserved a bunch of tests, because these tests are not very cheap as well.
Yeah.
Before we got the approval, because we didn't want to like do everything and then it gets rejected. So that was when we started doing all the other tests, and that was kind of tough for me to see, because he had to go through a bunch of things that weren't comfortable, and I wish he didn't have to go through that, but it's part of the screening process, because the main priority for the transplant team is to make sure that he will be fine. If there's any sign at all that indicates that he won't be fine, or he might not be fine down the road with one kidney, they will call the whole thing off.
There would be so much anxiety on your part, because first you have to wait for the approval,
Yes,
and
there's a
then
lot of
with every test you're like, this could be it. This could be the end of the road today.
Yes,
again, right?
that is a very accurate way of putting it.
And you're going through that again and again and again.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a roller coaster.
How do you get through the roller coaster?
I think even after the approval, I'm like, this might happen. Let's be hopeful, but it could also not happen should something go wrong with any of the screenings, and I have to be okay with that. So,
was there any coping mechanism? How do you get through that sort of anxiety, or you
good question.
Just compartmentalize the whole thing?
I think I just tried to manage my expectations as much as I could. I didn't, in my mind, like, it is always like, this could happen, but it might not. So,
were you still having conversations between the two of you throughout this process?
I
mean, like, it's mostly a lot.
A lot of conversations.
Yeah.
So even as you were going through the test and you were going through all the discomfort, but you didn't share the discomfort.
I can see it, because I always go, like, we do it together, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I got tell him lah. I told him also lah. Like, this is like getting really real, like right now after the whole radio test lah. But I think what we talked a lot about is like, and I believe in this is like, and he was scared lah. Like, I was scared also, but like, as in scared, like, like this test, and suddenly like, oh, we're not good. We're not like, you're not ready, or like I'm not like suitable for donation or something. Like, I got a health risk or anything lah. So like, I think like the one thing for him, and I kept telling me myself and him also, is also like even if it's hard, and even if it's like scary and all that, like we'll go through. We don't have to like be super mentally positive about going through it. Like we would just go through it. We were scared. We are like
acknowledge
frustrated.
whatever emotions that
And
you
then
have
just
going through
and
the
then,
process.
and then continue going through the process. So,
I love how real you were with each other throughout this process about your own individual respective emotions and still being able to hold that duality of each other's emotions and your own hopes as well. And
Yeah, we definitely share a lot of that. He knows what I go through as well, like emotionally throughout the whole journey,
right.
and vice versa. Yeah.
If I can bring it back to one moment, you're being wheeled into the operation theater for your kidney to be transplanted, right? So there's that moment when they wheel you into the room, that journey where they take you from the room all the way to the OT, and you're on that stretcher.
Yeah.
Do you remember what went through your mind in that moment?
The thing is that they woke us up damn early.
Yeah, it was really
Because at first I thought like, oh, they said 7 a.m. and then they woke up 5 or 6 and I'm just like, oh, I haven't enough sleep. And then like, okay, it's time to go. And I'm like, then my wife was there with me. Then she's like, huh? No, she's like, what? They're putting you in the stretcher already? I'm coming now. Then she drove out, and I just rushed here and it's like, okay, I'm here. Okay, then they got on the stretcher and I'm still like sleepy but like I tend to dissociate from things when I'm stressed. So like I'm not like, my brain is just like, okay, like my body's here, my brain's not here. I'm just like, it's not a good coping mechanism, but it is a coping mechanism. Got to the stretcher. Like the wheelchair is fine, and when you got into the stretcher, then that's like it's very like, okay, this is like, you're just like, okay, it's fine. Yeah.
Trying to assure yourself.
Yeah, like just trying to assure myself like it's okay, like I get 2 weeks off, I get to play video games.
You're trying to think of all the
nice things that I will get right
possible.
after this. Yeah, like I get to play all the video games I want to do. I want to play it, but yeah, like it's scary lah. I mean, like I have to admit, yeah, it's scary, but like, you know, it's to do what is important and what is right. Sometimes like you have to go through like just feeling scared. Like if it was easy, then like if it was easy, like not putting myself on like moral high ground, but like if it was easy, like not everyone could and will do it lah.
Yeah, I think I read a quote somewhere about, you know, if it's hard, then that's worth fighting for, isn't it?
Yes, and if it's the version that I have, and I tell him a lot, this one is like, if it's not hard or if it's easy, then it's not real kindness lah.
Yeah, and after the surgery, when they finally wake you up, what's the first thing in your mind?
Ouch. So when they woke me up, and then like they're like, okay, I said, you're awake now, and I'm like, it hurts. Wow, okay. Then he just grabbed me by my shoulders, right? Like the nurse is like, okay, time to get you out now. I'm like, hurts, pain. Oh, boom, throw there. I'm like, It's like, pain. Yeah, then like I need more painkillers. That's the first thing I thought of. Yeah.
Okay. Second thing,
like, man, these nurses are rough.
Oh no.
Yeah, I remember this one nurse, like, got my eye on him. I remember, but yeah, it's just more of like, it's over, it's done. Okay, pain. Okay, go back, sleep. Yeah, like very crisis mode thinking
You were
like,
just trying to get through the
moment.
moment.
Yes. So it's just like, okay, this is done. Okay, like once I wake up, like I'll check in on Jay. That's it.
Okay. So when do you actually check in with Jay?
2 days later actually.
Second day,
Yeah. Second day lah. I
Honestly,
think it was
like,
second day.
my days are all jumbled up because in the ICU you don't see the sun.
So you were there for 3 or 4 days.
in ICU.
3 to 4 days.
3 to 4 days lah.
I think 4 days.
Yeah. But for me it was like checked in on him second. Actually no, like I did ask lah, like, you know, like when my wife I think, you know, your fiance was also like came to visit, and your brother came to visit, and then the doctors came to visit and asked, oh, like, is it done? And okay, yeah, great. Then the doctors like, oh my god, sorry, this is very unrelated, but the doctor was like, Isaiah, you did a good job, you should be proud. And he grabs my leg and shakes my leg, and I'm like, it hurts, stop shaking my leg.
When was the first moment you actually knew was successful?
I think when the doctor, one of the doctors came and I asked lah, and that either that or her name was Jeannie lah. And then I said, hey, how's Jay? And he's okay. And I'm like, okay.
So that's when you knew that it's gone well.
Yeah, but I was on the same day lah.
Same day.
Same day, yeah.
Right.
I just maybe in the evening, I think. Yeah.
And for you, when did you first realize that it's gone well?
Oh wow. I woke up from the anesthesia feeling really like confused a little bit. I wasn't really. I mean, waking up from that is a bit. You feel a bit groggy and everything. I wasn't really aware of my surroundings, but I know I was kind of awake, and I can hear people talking about the surgery that it went well. So I'm like, oh, okay, I think it went well. And then my family, my fiance, they all came to see me when I was in the ICU, and I think I wasn't fully conscious yet, maybe like 60% conscious, and they were all telling me the same thing. Oh, it went really well. You know, the kidney started working immediately. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I guess that's good news, but I can't really open my eyes. It took me a while, and I finally like woke up and spoke to the nurses, and they told me about it.
When did you first see each other?
I think it was
2 days, man.
2 days later, because he was also like.
Yeah, I was on a
Not very
wheelchair
mobile.
alarm. I'm like, oh, this hurts. But then it's like, oh, we got to go see. Like my wife is like, come, we got to go see Jay. I'm like, okay, fine, let's go. Like, oh.
Any emotions when you first saw each other?
Yeah,
For me, it was you know, for me, it was just like, oh, Jay's alright. You know, like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and then we're trying to not make each other laugh because our wounds
It hurts.
Nah, like it was mostly me. It was mostly me. He was hooked up on like so many drugs, like, cause he had to. Like, it was like it's such a big scar.
Yeah,
like,
and then
cutting-
ICU, you have a lot of monitoring.
Yeah, so I
everywhere.
kept making jokes non-stop, and I'm
I'm
like,
like,
I need to
stop.
stop. I'm like, shoot, I need to
No,
stop.
you were laughing at your own jokes.
I
too,
did.
so-
It was funny.
So you played music together, and then after that you worked together. How long you worked together?
Damn.
Oh, man.
6-ish years, right?
We work in the same company.
Same
yeah,
company.
But for a good
the company is not big, maybe about 15 of us
Less
now.
than 12, I think.
12?
I think 12 only.
Maybe 12 of us. But interestingly, we've had, if you count him, 3 kidney donors in that small
Yeah.
pool of company.
That's why.
One of them, a super athletic guy, he donated his kidney to a stranger.
a random
Oh, but this is the
lady.
US.
This
In
is
the
the
US,
US,
because they
yeah.
got the swap system, right? So like
Right.
it's like he flew here like 3 years ago, right? Then I'm like, yeah, for some reason I asked him like, hey, dude, what's that scar at the back? And then he's like, oh, I donate my kidney. I'm like, are you serious? It's like, yeah. But
Yeah, he was like, I woke up one morning thinking,
I want to
I want
donate,
to
a
donate
kidney.
to a stranger, and he just did it.
But also, I think he heard that someone needed it. Then he knew the program. He just gave lah. I think that was it. So that's why like it's the fact that like this guy is willing to give out of like his own goodwill to a random lady, and I'm like, dude, you are a saint lah. Like, dude, I'm like, you are a saint, and he's like, oh, not really lah. I'm like he doesn't speak like that. He sounds like Flash from Zootopia. He's like, no, I was like, not really. And I'm like, it's just the right thing to do. That's how he sounds like lah. And then like, I'm like, oh yeah. So I'm like, then because of that, then I'm like, and I asked him like, hey dude, like you donate your kidney, and like, any repercussions are, like, do you change how you eat? No, I still eat pancakes and cereal every day. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, he's
you're
still
good, bro.
He's still cross-country skiing.
Yeah, like
He's super active.
he's
he's like me times 20 maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
of course he's tall lah, so you know
He's also-
that
he-
also
he-
contributes.
When he was here, he ran up Penang Hill in 45 minutes, I think. Yeah.
He first day he flew down, like, as in the next day he flew down. He ran like for fun, a fun run, and became top 4. And then everyone was just like, who is this person? Suddenly like win top 4. Then the MC's like, Daddy Long Legs. Ooh. And I'm like, that's what we call him now lah. But yeah, so like he like I see how he is, and I'm like, there's another donor, Yvonne lah.
yeah.
So like she's also okay. And then I'm like, you know, like I think I can do this lah. Then I asked my friend, like I said, like the doctor who's working in the government, he said like, it's possible. No one has done it, but it is possible. Because he also knows UTEC. He saw that he read
Yeah,
the
but that's
thing.
one person who said it was possible.
Yeah, and then
What does friendship mean to you, Jay?
Oh.
oof.
I think like I'm quite aligned with him in that sense. Blood is not always thicker than water. I think you do have a choice to choose who your family is in that way, because not everybody is born into a good family, and you shouldn't just like. That's just how I feel. You know, not everyone's as fortunate as some people to just be born in a really good family and have all the support you need from them. Some people don't have support from their family as much as they would like to have, and it's times like that where, you know, friendship really matters, and you decide like who you want to surround yourself with, And yeah, I mean, having good people around you really helps you a lot in terms of like your life, your direction, just emotional support, physical support, and anything.
And how do you actually protect the friendship? How do you nurture it? Because this friendship doesn't get from where you met him and he was playing the guitar and then all the way and then suddenly...
It's very organic in the sense
yeah.
that we don't even try. It's just,
right. Like we really didn't try.
yeah, it's just like, hey, you know.
It's like, oh yeah, like we're gonna play music or play then like.
Because we also share the same values and things, so that makes it easy in a lot of ways. So we don't honestly like. I don't know how to answer that because it wasn't something that we consciously tried.
Yeah, like to nurture. Yeah, nurture is the interesting word. You know, like for me, like nurture means like to actively like try to do some like try to care for something. Like for me, like and in this context with Jay lah, yeah, like we share surprisingly like the last year we learned that like we actually share a lot of bad and good habits and good values. Like I guess that's why like we kind of gravitate towards working with each other a lot also lah. Like we have the problem of workaholism. We work too much. Seriously, we work too much sometimes. But also like
self-imposed.
Self-imposed. No one tells you to do one and be like, I need to fix this. And then now and then he will ask me, do you actually have to fix this? Did the client ask you to? And I'm just like, no. And then him also last time like he went like traveling once and you had food poisoning and I'm like, bro, just stop working. Literally your day with Jin, like if your fiance says stop working and like rest so you can have fun. Then he's like, no, I need to send this. I'm like go die like you like just. But yeah, then like there's that. There's also I guess like the music thing lah. Like surprisingly, we found out we really like this one band called the Paper Kites. So like, hey, no, okay, that's fine.
You're looking at it.
Yeah, you should Google it. It's nice. I'm the number one like YouTube fan apparently. They got a badge and all. So so like we found out we like the band a lot. Then we're like, oh, like that's nice lah. Then and yeah, so like we share like values, habits, and then in general just I guess like sense of humor lah.
What do you think the Asian culture has gotten wrong about friendship? You're laughing. There must be more to it. Come on, Isaac, spill the beans.
Okay lah, I say it lah. All right, so like a lot of like, I feel like even growing up, I come from like a all boys Chinese school for 11 years of my life, right? So like every time like you are close with a friend, you'll be like, oh, yeah, you're too gay, which is I mean like again like I'm okay with like homosexuality. Yeah, but it's just like cannot like just like that lah. Like there's nothing wrong with like friendship in general. Like even like and the funny thing is always like when you're friends with girls and they'll be like, yeah, you guys also got things. And I'm like, what is wrong, man? Like you just the friends are friends lah. Like really that is just sometimes it is really just that simple.
It's also like a bit of that masculinity culture where like
that also.
Guy, you can't talk emotions with your guy friends. That's
that also lah.
It's like I mean we talk about things like that all the time.
I love how you were sharing about how this journey you all talk to each other about your emotions and things like that, because it reminded me of something in one of the interviews that Simon Sinek said. He said that it's so much harder for guys to form that sort of true male love, friendship love, than for women. Apparently it's easier for women, but it's a lot harder for men. And that's why I love the interaction that the both of you had and you were like bantering off camera.
I feel like it has to do with ego lah. It really is just ego, like male, female, everything is just like if we kind of just strip that away, right? We're just humans lah. We're just people. We're just humans. Like gender, race, nationality. Like you strip everything aside, it's like humans, and people need love lah, in whatever form that is lah. Sometimes like there's like even like I feel like what we have is more like brotherly love lah. Like I know his brother also same like, and then we have another friend also who's apparently as unhinged as I am. We all get along so well, like, and it's just like that lah. Like sometimes we just ask like, hey, are you okay? Like, I mean the others not so like because like they've never gone through like very
that
deep
depth of the friendship.
More of like emotionally digging into like the depression of all that. I mean because like last year like in like knowing the mortality thing, right? If you're gonna die, if you know that your days are numbered, like how does that make you feel? Like you need to tell someone about it. I did psychology, by the way.
Oh.
So yeah, so I know my stuff. No, kidding. The APA would kill me.
We are on a podcast that talks about reset, right? In this whole journey,
Yeah.
what has actually what would you say is the one reset that this experience has reset you in some way?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think I can answer to that on both on both emotionally and physically as well. Like this has been, I mean, emotionally and mentally has reframed my perspective on a lot of things. You just, like, when you don't have any issues or problems, you take normal for granted, right? Now I'm like, wow, I'm grateful for every normal day that I have, you know? Not needing to go to be hooked up to the machine for 4 hours, twice a week, 3 times a week. It's such a big improvement in terms of quality of life. And it's surreal. Like I feel that every day, especially on Mondays and Thursdays, which were the days that I would have been dialyzed. And sometimes I text him, I'm like, thank you for this Monday.
And then I just send him a WhatsApp sticker and like, okay, man.
Yeah, it's been surreal, definitely. And you're just super grateful for a lot of things, and you don't. It teaches you to not take things for granted.
Right.
Yeah. And physically, I feel great. I mean, I feel like I'm human again.
Oh, you're human.
In a sense, you know, as the electrolytes balances, you just feel better overall.
Sure.
I mean, I haven't gone anywhere. I haven't done anything yet, but just being able to be at home or just not needing to like go through that process of dialysis is amazing. I mean,
wow.
That alone is having normal weeks, you know, and I just look forward to the next week of being normal.
And even better than the week before.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. And for you, Isaac, what were the biggest reset from this whole experience?
Like not much, to be honest, because like I still live my life the way like I do. I guess like one thing I did reset is also more of like, I guess, trying to be appreciative of like him also lah. Like not as major as you know, like wow, everything changed for me, because like for me it's like yeah, maybe I should stop and smell the roses a bit more lah.
That's what I try to tell him as well, I guess.
I'm a workaholic, so so he would remind me, and I'm just trying to also say, yeah, maybe I should slow down. Like this is a good thing.
Our roles were reversed, because I used to be that, and he'd be like telling me, he would tell me to like chill out.
Yeah.
Because I'm also kind of like a workaholic, and now I'm telling him to chill out.
Yeah, so that's the reset, I guess.
That's a reset.
Reset, personality change already.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Isaac and Jay, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. I really appreciate having both of you here, and I hope that there'll be others who hear, especially about how UTEC exists and how it is possible for organ donation among non-family, non-related persons. So thank you for sharing your story.
Thanks
for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
If today's conversation has sparked some thoughts in your head, share it with us by leaving some comments below. We want to keep having honest conversations like today for you.
This episode reflects personal views and recollections at the time of filming. Its content is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult a qualified healthcare practitioner to address the concerns you have.